Stay with us. We'll be hearing more from Maxwell Agbagba, who's in East Legon, speaking to the police. They're currently trying to manage the traffic there following the completion of the works on the tunnel, which was meant to ease traffic, but there still remains some concerns, and the police are going to explain those concerns to us, and perhaps we can figure out together how we can resolve these problems. There's probably something you and I can do in the way we use the roads in that area to ensure that that problem is resolved. That's coming up when Maxwell Agbagba returns to talk to the police of East Legon. You'll recall that it's been just a few months since the new tunnel was opened to allow the ease of traffic in that area. It used to be a nightmare in the mornings trying to get through that pass from East Legon to Shiashi. Now, with the opening of the tunnel, which leads to Spintex Road, the expectation is that traffic should move a bit smoother now. There's a traffic light there. But on days like this, the police also appear to be needed to keep traffic rolling. I wonder what the problem is. We will find out very, very soon when we connect to Maxwell Agbagba. Now, he's been on this all morning, and I believe we can connect to him now. Maxwell, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you now, Kojo.
Oh, perfect. All right, so you were telling us what the problem is.
Exactly. So the police officers are here today making sure that drivers who use this stretch, who use the East Legon roads, actually adhere to, the road regulations, to traffic regulations. We've been here since morning already. We've noticed some of the breaches. Well, some people usually would join the main stretch, head into Spintex, and then to the Central Business District. Some of them come from the back as if they are going towards Legon and its environs. Then, they just take a quick turn and then join the stretch here. The police officers are not quite happy, with what is happening. We've also seen what we already know, or what we've come to know as a siren privilege, where some people driving in their 4x4s, their four-wheel drives, actually put on their sirens and then, quickly find their way through. And then, some of the police officers we've been speaking to here say that they actually put the lives of other road users in danger. We have them here with us. We're privileged to have with us here Superintendent Cephas Atta. He's the outgoing East Legon Police Commander. I also have with me here Chief Inspector Frank Nyaku. He's a station officer, the MTTD station officer here. Let me start off with Chief Inspector. Chief Inspector, we've been here with you, and we've seen let's call it 4x4 privilege, the siren privilege. We've also seen how some drivers who are supposed to use the outer lane actually drive as if they are using it. They get here and then they do a quick detour, endangering, the lives of other road users.
Good morning. My name is Chief Inspector Frank Nyaku. I am the station officer, East Legon MTTD. Yeah. The reason why we are saying this is that some people drive facing oncoming vehicles, and it causes danger to other road users. At times, there are demarcations on the ground where there are no dotted lines. You don't have the right to join. That's neglect of road marking signs. So some people will drive from the top downwards to the down, and you come and enter. When you ask the person, he will tell you, I'm late or I'm this. But we want those drivers to desist from that act because it has been causing accidents on the road. That's the reason why we are putting this on the media, so that those driving facing oncoming vehicle causing danger to other road users and dangerous driving will stop on the way. Thank you.
Now, you talked about road markings. Now, would you say that it is lack of education? Of course, ignorance of the law is not an excuse, but there's sometimes that for some of these markings on the road, there are some road users who really do not understand that.
There are demarcations on the ground. When you watch the ground, you see that the line goes straight. That one is showing clearly that you don't have the right to join. But where there are dotted lines, where there are broken lines, you have the right to join. But where there are lines on the ground showing straight line, giving indication that when you pass there, you have to go straight on the road, or you branch to your right side. You don't have the right to join from your left because the law does not state that.
The Lord has to stay that. Okay, I'll come back to you shortly. Let's speak to Mr. Sefas Atta. You're welcome to JoyNews.
Thank you. I say good morning to your viewers.
Great. Superintendent, we've been here for, about 2 hours, and we've noticed, some of the some road users actually disregarding the traffic regulations.
That is very unfortunate. We are in a state that has rules and regulations and laws that govern our activities. So our call on the general public, especially motorists, is that they should respect the rules, regulations governing their use of the road. I can also emphatically tell you that sometimes you see drivers overspeeding. Through the boundary road, and right in front of the police station, you see them overspeeding. And
Legon, in front of this Legon police station,
a public institution as important, as crucial as the Ghana Police Service. They speed in front of the police station, and when even those who have come for services of the police are joining, whether they are crossing or joining with their vehicles, you have to stay looking left, right for about 5 minutes before somebody can stop for you to join. It is very unfortunate, and it is about time that we stop this attitude. We also have to respect other road users. They are as important as those of us who are driving. So as the Chief Inspector said, you also, I know you came here earlier and you have witnessed some drivers disregarding the motor traffic regulations. Some drive on the shoulders of the road. Others also don't follow the queue, ostensibly because they are late. So they are going to work and they are late. You just saw one a while ago. It is very unfortunate. So this facility that has been constructed by the government to ease the traffic at this point is virtually becoming ineffective. Ineffective. Why is it becoming ineffective? It's because some members of the public, some motorists, are refusing to obey the traffic regulation. So you see, just a small percentage of the problem has been solved. Not because the tunnel that has been widened is not enough, but because of the attitude of motorists who are refusing to respect the traffic regulation. And the police, we are going to ensure that if anybody is caught disrespecting the traffic regulation, we deal with him, we arrest him, process him, and put him before court for the court processes to take its own place.
Let me get back to Chief Inspector Frank Nyako. We'll talk about the siren privilege, shortly. But I can imagine working here as an MTTD officer. It's Legon. There are a lot of influential people, who live here. But unfortunately, sometimes, they are also the culprits. How do you manage this?
As a policeman or MTTD man, you have to be professional. As our motto says, you have to know how to deal with people, and you have to know how to talk to the public. At times, dealing with it is very difficult because some of them, you cannot control them. And if you don't take time, he will even rather taking it up to report you. So at times we deal with them, asking them that they should not do those things, but it keeps on continuing. The same person the following day.
Okay. Are you surprised sometimes when you experience this in this part of town?
One thing is that formerly the grounds was not like this, but through the government now the place is very secure. So if any of them follows the line will go straight forward. But some are not able, and I don't think they will not. So there's the need for education. We have been doing education, road safety several times, but still it continues. And at times some of our forces workers, you will see police, immigration, military officers driving, facing oncoming vehicle or neglect of road marking signs on the ground.
Superintendent Sefas Atta, how difficult is it? The same question. How difficult is it enforcing, traffic regulations here in an area where you have a lot of influential people? And earlier I was talking about what we've come to know as a siren privilege. A lot of the culprits are people who drive in four-wheel drives. A lot of the times when the queue is so long, they are the ones who drive on the shoulders of the road and make sure they get to the front and move ahead.
Indeed, difficult enforcing the traffic regulation in a community as privileged as East Legon. That is quite ironic because one would have expected that it is rather in a community as privileged as East Legon that persons living here would want to respect the laws of the land. But this is where they flagrantly rather break the laws. So what we are going to do, and we have started doing, first of all, we embarked on public education to educate them. We have held so many fora to educate the public, so especially the drivers. And so you realize that it is not the commercial drivers who are committing the offenses, but the private drivers. And these are the big men that we have in this community. They are influential persons. There are people in high places like the ministries. There are people in parliament. There are people in other places. And we expect that the respect for the law will start from them. They will serve as the worthy example that we need to emulate. And we are not going to leave any stone unturned in our bid to enforce the law. We are going to arrest and use the law to arrest so that people will face the law. Perhaps people want to be punished, and after which maybe they will start to respect the law. So we are going to do so. But however, we are using this opportunity to call on them that everybody is looking up to them. They are the example that everybody is looking up to. So if they do the right thing, others will follow. It is so nauseating, so to speak, to see a big man driving in a V8 commit the offense, drive on the shoulder, or drive past the queue, and a trotro driver sit in his car and watches the big man doing that. The next time, you will find him also doing the same thing. So let the respect of the law start from us, or start with us, the big men within the community. They are making traffic control, they are making traffic management difficult for the police.
Now let's just pretend that some of them do not know about these traffic regulations. Let's pretend that they do not know that for sirens, for instance, is a bullion van, emergency service vehicles. Maybe for to make it clear, I know you championed this some years ago. Can you list the vehicles that have the permit to actually use sirens?
Our attempt to list some of them. Police vehicles that are responding to emergency situations are permitted. Fire service, ambulance service. We have vehicles used by the president are also permitted to use the siren, and a few more. But it is never permitted, and a number of public announcement, public education has been carried out. It is not permitted at all for people using V8, just for the fact that they are using V8, or just for the fact that they are ministers, just for the fact that they are MPs, just for the fact that they are VVIPs in our country. The law doesn't permit them to use sirens. They are as normal as any normal. They are as ordinary as any ordinary human being, also going to his work or going to his farm and driving. They are also supposed to respect the road traffic regulations. So they are not permitted to use a siren. And the police administration has sent this warning time and again, a number of times. Yet we have a lot of them not heeding this simple traffic regulation advice. So already a number of measures were put in place in the past. People were arrested, people were put before the court, they were fined. Yet we still have some people doing it. Perhaps with time, we shall continue to educate, we shall continue to do our work as police officers, arrest and prosecute. Perhaps within time, or within a short time, the message will be drummed home to the public, and this nuisance will stop.
As you're talking about prosecution, let me talk to Chief Inspector Frank Nyako. Now, if we do not make the laws, to bite harder, definitely people would continue to flout them. I want to find out from you how you are able to process people who do not heed traffic regulations. How fast do you process them for court? And I mean, in terms of prosecution, how successful are you?
The one thing is that in our regulations at its work, LI 2180, which was amended in 2012, and even Act 683, which was amended in 2004, the Act 1 said you should not drive dangerously. And the section 22 says that it causes danger to other road users. Exactly. So when you do those things and we mandate to arrest you, we process you and send you to court at that time. Within one hour or 2 hours, you should send it to court. At times, there are interference. Some people will be calling to give interference. Do you know me? This is a person. At times, it has been hindering our effort of sending people to court because people will be coming in to plead. And as if you policeman become a very wicked person. But if we should allow the law to work in Ghana.
Most of the people who call to plead, I want to think they are the high and mighty in society.
Oh, plenty of them, you don't know their identity because they'll be calling from somewhere. And at times somebody can express himself that he's this, but it's not. So at times some of us don't think about the cause. But we always switch that there are laws in Ghana and we should exercise the law to work, which was going to help us in future. Otherwise, we can't.
Okay. Superintendent Sefasata, let me find out from you. So what really is the way forward? You are the outgoing commander for East Legon, but I'm sure the next person the person who's going to take over from you, you're going to tell him about some of these happenings. What do you think is the way forward? How can we nip this, in the bud?
Thank you. The way forward, I strongly believe, is attitudinal change. 1. 2, the way forward is prosecution, punitive measures taken against those who break our laws. And these are the 2 major things that we think. And perhaps another aspect is public education. We have to continue educating the public until they understand. So attitudinal change, prosecution, and public education. This is not a problem that is peculiar to East Legon. It is all over the country. It's all over the city. And so wherever I'm going, I will continue there. And I know whoever is also coming here is also going to continue it here, so that together, we shall be able to overcome this canker. We must also know that by disregarding the traffic regulation, driving on the shoulders, avoiding the queues and other things, we are putting the life of other road users, especially pedestrians, in danger. And exactly what is that? It's exactly the same thing that happened some time ago, a couple of days ago, where a journalist of a renowned media house like Joy FM had his spouse involved in a serious accident, and but for the grace of God, he would have lost the wife. So it is very crucial. It's not as if the police take delight in just telling the people that don't jump the queue, don't do this, don't do this. If you breach the traffic regulation, there are dire consequences to human life and property. That is why we insist. That is why the laws are there.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Superintendent Sefasata. Chief Inspector Frank Nyako, your final words?
My final word is that we should all allow us to work with the law. We want Ghana to be well, so let the law work. Let us exercise the law, and they should leave us to exercise the law to work.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's quite a profound statement. They should leave us for the laws to work. I would leave that to you. I'm not going to put any interpretation on that. But you just heard from Chief Superintendent Sefasata. He's the outgoing commander for the East Legon Police. And then you also heard from Chief Inspector Frank Nyako. He's a station officer at the Motor Transport and Traffic Department at East Legon. And they've actually started this exercise to get drivers who use the East Legon roads to actually heed the traffic regulations. So this morning they are here. We've seen a lot of their men down there about 300 meters away from where I'm standing. In fact, if you're driving through East Legon, you see them all over, making sure that drivers heed traffic regulations. From East Legon here, Maxwell Agbagba, JoyNews, over to you in the studio.
Well, thank you, Maxwell. That was rather insightful and a bit worrying. The point is made quite clearly that the people who live in areas like East Legon tend not to be those who are considered ignorant of the law. They ought to know a lot better than to break it in such a flagrant manner. Rather disturbing stuff there.
Yes, it is disturbing, but I think that East Legon is a better picture of the whole ecosystem we have in our country as far as this is related. And so if this is better, it means that it's worse somewhere.
I shudder to think what that would look like. Especially because, look, at this time of the day, most people in traffic are carrying children, taking them to school.
Yeah, true.
So it is perhaps the worst time to be irresponsible on the road. But these big 4x4s, you know, using the wrong lane and then cutting in, switching on sirens to move other cars out of the way so that they can pass. That sense of entitlement, where does it come from?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a socio-cultural inbred problem that we seem to have picked up. It's always been with us. We seem to have that mentality of ownership. And we feel that once we are in a position of trust and position of perhaps advantage in our society, whether you're rich or you're in public office or you're a politician, it means that you can't take advantage of certain situations to your own comfort. That's a parochial way of thinking about it, because once you cut in through the rightful ways, you have perhaps impeded somebody's own ability to travel on time to a certain destination. More so, you're even setting different examples for the kids around, because just imagine if any of those people flouting the regulations themselves have children in there, it means that they are copying blindly. And we seem to be accustomed to be having a certain mindset that seem to characterize the way we seem to behave, of just flouting regulations just across whichever spectrum of our society that we find ourselves. And that's what we do. If it's a queue to go and buy fuel at a station, we want to have a shortcut. If it is at a banking hall, we want to have a shortcut. If it is even at an eatery, we want to have a shortcut. So even at the church, you want to make entry. Somebody wants to... Yeah, so.
And you see, it's a mindset, isn't it? We talked about it this morning on our message of motivation. It's a mindset. So how do you change this? How do you go about making Ghanaians think differently? How do you make a Ghanaian regard their fellow man and pay respect to their fellow man when you get to an intersection and obey the law even when nobody is watching? How do you achieve that?
It's always through behavioral change communication. And just during the week, we're having a discussion on one of those platforms that all of us are always on, about how, as Africans, we seem to be doing differently. And it was an argument that was started because Melania Trump was coming to Ghana, and why should we, and then the concern about us not paying enough taxes, etc. And a couple of my friends who I grew up with are living abroad, and they said that the tendency for somebody to flout a regulation or to file taxes or pay taxes was 30% or it was 70% less in their country, and could mean the opposite in our country. I say, yeah, or even we could even have 99% of our people not paying taxes at all. And so it looks like, because societies have tended to make sure that their institutions work and apply the law when they have flouted it. We've had a whole generation or several generations of people who have tended just to behave in a more rightful manner, or perhaps obey the norms as it is. It doesn't seem to apply to us. It's also because of the socio-cultural mindset we have. We seem to think that if the chief is in the village, the chief is entitled. If you're waiting at the borehole to rather fetch water instead of you. So we have that self-worth of entitlement all the time, and we feel that somebody else doesn't have that, and that's why it's permeated our society.
It's a pity. We need to reverse it. I wonder how we will, but we can't stop trying.
It's a question that I guess we will have to answer.
Indeed.
Whether we can.
Yeah, well, we can't stop trying, that's for sure. Have you seen Becky today?
I haven't seen her.
She's looking amazing, and she's up next with Showbiz. So stay exactly where you are. She's back after these.